Now on CoastTV News.
Remembering those who gave their lives for this country, what Ocean City had planned today. A early morning crash kills one. What Delaware State Police say happened. A man arrested in the U.S. Embassy bomb plot.
And it's been an absolutely beautiful start to the Memorial Day weekend, and we're going to continue that theme into our Memorial Day with mostly sunny skies, temperatures in the 70s, but I am tracking some changes in the middle part of next week involving some rain. We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with a deadly crash in Millsboro. Delaware State Police are investigating that deadly motorcycle crash that occurred early this morning just after 2:30 a.m. DSP says a Toyota Sienna crossed into oncoming traffic on Millsboro Highway and crashed head-on with a motorcycle. The 58-year-old motorcyclist from Millsboro was pronounced dead at the scene. His name has not been released yet. The Toyota's driver was not hurt, though two passengers were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. The investigation of this crash is still ongoing. We're now looking at new pictures from the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company. Two people were injured in a rear-end crash yesterday at Holly Mount and Beaver Dam roads, according to the Indian River Volunteer Fire Company. A gray Honda Accord hit a Honda Ridgeline pickup. Both drivers were taken to the hospital. Aviation was originally called, but then canceled. State police are continuing to investigate this crash. And on your screen now are new photos from a fire last night in Georgetown. The Milton Fire Department says they assisted the Millsboro Fire Company in containing this outbuilding fire. And there's no information on the cost and damages from this fire yet in Georgetown. From a musical performance to vehicle displays and aircrafts flying over, CoastTV's Kevin Zapay shows us what Ocean City did to remember those who gave up their lives for this country.
While the Maryland Air National Guard performed in the sky, the 229th Maryland Army National Guard performed on the ground. All to honor and remember those who gave their lives in service, something Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan saw even the kids participating in.
He was saluting the whole time that the band was playing the military songs, and I just thought that was classic.
On Sunday, a Memorial Day ceremony was held in town, with various speakers.
We are celebrating selfless service.
A band, military vehicles kids can experience, and laying out wreaths to all the branches in the U.S., honoring and remembering all those who gave up their lives for this country. Vacationer Kristen Buffington and her family made sure to show their respects.
All in all, though, everything was great. It's very important because my dad was in the Army for 26 years and gives everybody a chance to learn about our military's history.
And Mayor Meehan believes not only is Memorial Day weekend a kickoff to summer season in town, but an important reminder to give thanks.
It's important we don't forget and we remember to honor those that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country so we can continue to enjoy Memorial Day weekends with our family and friends.
Now, this is the first year Ocean City held this Memorial Day ceremony, and according to Mayor Meehan, they're planning to make this a yearly tradition. I'm Kevin Zapay in Ocean City, CoastTV News.
In Lewes, the American Legion Post 17 will have a tribute parade tomorrow. The parade will begin on Shelley Avenue, just behind the Lewes Presbyterian Church. It'll then head down Savannah Road, cross over the bridge towards the beach, and end at Post 17. That parade starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow in Lewes. The summer crowds mean beach patrols are back on duty across the coast. Ocean City's lifeguard kicked off their season yesterday morning. They'll be at the beaches daily from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And along with their new station, the Rehoboth Beach lifeguards were out on the stands for the first time yesterday as well. They'll be on watch between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on weekdays and 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on weekends and holidays. And in Dewey Beach, lifeguards are on the beaches daily from Memorial Day through Labor Day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to take a live look outside into Milford and bring in our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobuono. And Chris, overall, we had a beautiful Memorial Day weekend.
Yes,
Yes, it has been, Brandon. Plenty of sunshine, low humidity, cool, crisp temperatures. In fact, we've been a few degrees below that average high of 77. We were at 71 this afternoon after a morning low of 47 degrees. You see the record 91 set back in 1964. Highs elsewhere, we were at 71 in Salisbury, 72 in Ocean City. We were at 70 in Cambridge. So a beautiful day overall, and we're going to continue that theme into tomorrow. We're at 60 right now in Salisbury. Winds are pretty calm out there. You can see we're holding pretty steady. 63 Rehoboth, 63 in Bethany. We're at 61 in Millsboro, 62 in Laurel, and we are at 58 in Harrington. We have a lot of dry air in place right now. Few high clouds pushing over the area. High pressure pretty much suppressing this area of low pressure to the south. Now, we may squeak out a sprinkle or two overnight into the wee hours of Monday, especially for the far southern reaches of the peninsula, but I think most of the area will escape any shower activity. So we start our Memorial Day with clouds. Cloudy start. We're going to be seeing plenty of sunshine by the afternoon. Temperatures generally between about 66 to 75 from the coast on inland. I think we'll see a sea breeze kick in by the afternoon. As I mentioned, cloudy start. Temperatures around 56 and around 6 a.m. By 10 a.m., we're at 66 degrees, and we are on our way to the lower to mid-70s across Delmarva under mostly sunny skies. Coming up, we'll talk more about the rain threat later on in the week in that full 7-day forecast. Brandon?
Thank you, Chris. The town of Dewey Beach is reminding people who bring their dogs to the beach, dogs are not permitted on the beach between 9:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. Make sure to plan your beach visits accordingly to these rules. And staying in Dewey, they've been working on pedestrian improvements ahead of the summer season, including lowering blinking yellow lights for crosswalks. And now the town says if you do not properly use those crosswalks and jaywalk, it will cost you $50. Dewey Beach Commissioner Paul Bauer tells CoastTV enforcing this fine is the only way it will stick. And now we move to national news. Allegations of a terrifying attack plan from 28-year-old Joseph Newmeyer, an American citizen, was arrested today and is accused of plotting to fire a bomb at U.S. Embassy office in Tel Aviv. Federal prosecutors say he was stopped while carrying a Molotov cocktail and had also posted disturbing threats on social media. Matt Bradley has the latest.
Tonight, a man accused of trying to firebomb a branch office of the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv appeared in a New York court. Earlier today, Joseph Newmeyer, a dual U.S.-German national, was detained at New York's JFK airport after he was deported from Israel, where the 28-year-old allegedly planned to burn down a branch U.S. Embassy building. Newmeyer's ideology remains unknown, but his arrest comes amid growing concern over rising anti-Semitism. Just days after a gunman killed 2 Israeli embassy employees, couple Yaron Lachinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgram, in Washington on Wednesday. The Justice Department said in a statement that on May 19th, Newmeyer approached an embassy guard and spat on the guard. He fled when guards tried to detain him, the statement said, but he left his backpack, which contained 3 Molotov cocktails, a kind of firebomb. Earlier that day, the Justice Department said Newmeyer had written threatening social media posts. "Join me as I burn down the embassy in Tel Aviv," he had written. "Death to America, death to Americans." The Justice Department statement said earlier posts included plans to assassinate President Donald Trump.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem visited the Western Wall today in Jerusalem, saying Hamas must be defeated. Her visit comes just days after the killing of 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. Law enforcement officials say the accused gunman shouted "Free Palestine" when he was being arrested. Noem is scheduled to meet with Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu later tonight. Now moving to Florida, one person was taken to the hospital today this morning after a fuel tanker collided with a bus on Interstate 595 and went up into flames, according to officials. Davie police say the crash happened just after 10 a.m. Fire rescue said the victim was transported to the hospital, and videos on your screen now show the scene, a downed tanker on fire on the westbound lanes of I-595 as heavy black smoke billowed from it. Florida Patrol is investigating this crash. In Texas, a Republican-backed bill to require public schools to place the 10 Commandments in every classroom won a preliminary approval yesterday. The House advanced the controversial Senate bill in an 88-49 vote. The outcome sets the stage for the final approval vote from the Senate that takes place tonight. Many states have placed a similar bill. However, they have faced legal challenges, especially in Louisiana, where a federal judge blocked the law, finding it unconstitutional. Pope Leo XIV visited today the tomb of his predecessor, the late Pope Francis. The visit marked the end of the day when Leo was installed as Bishop of Rome. Pope Francis, who died on April 21st, chose St. Mary Major as his burial place, breaking the tradition of pontiffs being entombed in St. Peter's Basilica inside Vatican City. Coming up tomorrow on Coast TV News, language access to government websites, how a Delaware bill aims to improve accessibility for thousands.
Well, if you're headed to the beach tomorrow, we'll have a few clouds to start. Mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. Mid to upper 60s with an onshore breeze. Nice sea breeze. UV index is high. Keep that in mind. But the wave heights 1 to 2 feet. Rip current risk is low. We'll talk more about the rest of your 7-day forecast here in minutes.
It's been 5 years since the killing of George Floyd. How his family is still making a push to change policy in America. Don't go anywhere. We have that story next in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
People across the country are remembering George Floyd this weekend, who was killed by police in Minneapolis in 2020. Yesterday in Portland, Oregon, protesters took to the streets to once again call for the change, as this marked the 5-year anniversary of Floyd's death.
Protesters marched peacefully through the streets of Portland. Their message?
Whose lives matter? Black lives matter! Whose lives matter? Black lives matter!
It's been 5 years since George Floyd was murdered, and to see folks still come out in support for him and still demanding change, it's a beautiful thing.
Demonstrators hope to reignite conversation about racial justice and accountability.
This is the time. There's too much chaos and division and violence happening in our country right now, and it's time for more bridges.
The rally comes 5 years after Minneapolis police killed George Floyd.
No justice, no peace.
His murder set off protests and riots across the country.
Regardless of color, regardless of ideology, there was a common recognition that we needed to address our history and the violence and oppression of black and brown bodies.
For more than 100 consecutive nights, people in Portland gathered and marched to protest police policies and call for racial justice. At times, they clashed with police and federal agents sent to Portland to quell the demonstrations. In June of 2020, thousands of demonstrators laid down on the Burnside Bridge in a powerful tribute to George Floyd. On Saturday, demonstrators revisited the iconic moment at the very same location. They stood in a circle, silent, for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. The same amount of time police knelt on George Floyd's neck, leading to his death.
George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd!
Yesterday also marked another tragedy in America, the 3-year anniversary of the Uvalde school shooting in Texas. A vigil was held at Robb Elementary School, where empty desks with pictures of students were set up to remember the victims of the tragedy. Families and community members gathered to lay flowers, walk, and protest the horrific shooting. 19 children and 2 teachers were shot and killed during the attack. A second day of Russian drone and missile strikes have left at least 12 dead and dozens other injured in Ukraine, according to officials in Kiev. The massive Russian attack targeted the Ukrainian capital and other regions in the country. 3 children were killed, according to the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. 12 were also injured in the attack. The attack came on the 3rd day of a planned prisoner swap between Russia and Ukraine, the only tangible outcome from peace talks in Istanbul earlier this month that have so far failed to produce a ceasefire.
Well, the good news is we've escaped any significant rainfall this weekend, but that's going to change as we go into the middle part of next week. Could see a good soaking of rain as we go through Wednesday. We'll talk more about that and when we'll see the 80-degree temperatures make a return to the peninsula when Coast TV News at 11 continues. Well, I hope everyone is having an enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. We certainly are doing pretty good weather-wise. Plenty of sunshine, cool, comfortable temperatures. It's been a nice, crisp night out there. 64 degrees in Ocean City. Folks taking in the boards late nights, so some rides going there, some good food. And yeah, we're going to continue the good weather theme into Memorial Day itself. And as I mentioned, those ocean water temperatures still in the lower 60s. So I know some folks were venturing out in the ocean earlier when we were on at 6, but still a bit on the cold side, if you ask me. You want them ocean water temperatures in the 70s. 62 in Rehoboth Beach right now. We're at 60 in Milton, cool spot 59. Redden, 62 in Seaford, and we're at 60 in Milford. Winds are pretty calm, and they're going to stay pretty calm overnight. As we go, as we look back into time here, some of the top 3 hottest Memorial Days back in 2011, 95 degrees. The coldest high temperature was 59 back in 2000. The record low, 40 degrees, 1940. And then you see we had over an inch of rain in 2016. We're not going to be dealing with any of that this year. We are clear, we're dry. What you see there is not reaching the surface. Very dry air across much of the mid-Atlantic, all thanks to high pressure, severe weather across the deep south. We don't have any of that to worry about as well, but we do have cloud cover overnight and maybe a sprinkle or two, especially the far southern reaches of the peninsula. We're going to fall into the mid-50s. So we start with clouds, end with sunshine. Temperatures in the lower to mid-70s. Then we cloud up into Tuesday. Wednesday looks like the most unsettled day of the week with periods of rain and struggling to get out of the 60s. Tomorrow, 73 in Milford, 75 in Harrington. I think the Eastern Shore, 73, Denton, 75. Those are the areas that have the best chance of seeing the mid-70s. 73 in Salisbury. Cooler in Ocean City with a high of 69. At the coast, we're at 71 in Lewes, 66 Rehoboth Beach, 71 in Dewey, 71 Chicotee. Could see the clouds kind of hang on a bit longer there in Chicotee. So there's the cloud cover to start. About 6, 7 a.m. We erode the cloud cover, welcome in the sunshine by the afternoon. We're in the lower to mid-70s inland. See a sea breeze kick in, so I think we'll be in the mid-60s at the coast. By Tuesday, we'll call it mostly cloudy, still on the mild side with temperatures in the 70s. As we take you into Ocean City down through Chicotee and Salisbury, there's the cloud cover hanging on until about 8, 9 o'clock, and then we'll erode the clouds, and then the sunshine with temperatures getting into the 60s, and eventually the lower 70s as we go into Tuesday. So there's those precipitation chances really begin to ramp up as we go into Wednesday. Could see a good soaking of rain. In fact, as an area of low pressure passes across the Great Lakes, a secondary area of low pressure will pass to our south. We're going to see an onshore flow kind of similar to what we had last Wednesday. Temperatures struggling to get out of the 60s. Onshore flow, we could even see a rumble of thunder maybe Wednesday into Thursday. And then I think we dry out towards the tail end of the week. But the good news is, as we begin the month of June, hard to believe, June is here. We're going to be seeing those temperatures get above that average high of what is 77 currently. By the time we get to the end of the week, we see those temperatures get back up in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees by next weekend.
Thank you, Chris. Now to national politics. The Republican-led House passed a major piece of President Trump's agenda on Thursday, but it now faces more hurdles in the Senate. The legislation that the president has dubbed the Big Beautiful Bill would provide trillions of dollars in tax cuts while slashing federal supports for programs like food stamps and Medicaid. Jen Sullivan breaks down what's in the bill and the challenges it faces in the Republican-led Senate.
The Republican-led House narrowly passing a spending bill Thursday. The ambitious legislation could be modified by the Senate. President Donald Trump calling it the Big Beautiful Bill, which focuses on slashing taxes and federal spending.
We're cutting over $1.5 trillion in federal spending.
One potential problem, increased debt. The Congressional Budget Office says the legislation would add another $3.8 trillion to the already huge U.S. debt. Fiscally conservative Republicans in the Senate aren't happy about that, and Democrats argue tax cuts would go largely to the rich.
The GOP tax scam represents an assault on the economy.
The bill passed by the House would mean deep cuts to programs like SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which provides food stamps for roughly 42 million Americans. The Congressional Budget Office's recent analysis of the bill found it would strip roughly 3.2 million people of their food stamp benefits in an average month over the next decade. Some Republicans think it doesn't slash spending enough and want to see further cuts.
The first goal of our budget reconciliation process should be to reduce the deficit,
while Democrats worry these cuts will only hurt already struggling Americans.
Democrats should be figuring out not just how to stop these cuts, but to give the American people a vision for what a modern healthcare system that looks like the rest of the industrialized world would look like for the American people.
President Trump has said he would like the legislation to clear the Senate by July 4th, but that may be optimistic. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
In business news, Subaru says it has adjusted the sales price of vehicles sold in the U.S. to, quote, offset increased cost. In a statement on Monday, the Japanese automaker said the price change is in response to current market conditions, but did not directly link the changes to tariffs. While Subaru did not confirm the exact dollar amount of its price changes, a Massachusetts Subaru dealership posted on its website what prices would rise as much as $2,000 depending on the vehicle make and model. Summer transition for students with autism. Tips you should know next on CoastTV News. In your health news tonight, the transition from school to summer break can be challenging for some students, but for those on the autism spectrum, changes in routine can be overwhelming. As we inch closer to the end of the school year, Mandy Gaither has tips to help children on the autism spectrum adjust to summer in today's Health Minute.
From the classroom to the living room, some students love summer break, but for others, the change can be harder.
When we're thinking about individuals or children with autism, the hard thing about summer break is that, kids really love structure.
Psychologist Bianca Brooks with the Marcus Autism Center says school provides a routine that can be important for individuals or children on the autism spectrum. And sometimes summer can be unpredictable and vary week by week. She says parents can help their child adjust by creating a visual or picture summer schedule of day-to-day activities. Experts say if you plan to travel, plan ahead. Prepare the child for different sights, sounds, or smells. Maybe watch a YouTube video or try role-playing so they can see what to expect. And create a signal for the child so that they can let you know when they need a break. And if you know there will be long lines where you're going, bring items that can help occupy them.
Kind of having a little bit of like a Mary Poppins bag or a bag of tricks to kind of make that time a little bit more like fun and structured.
Brooks says for those with sensory issues, bring headphones and sunglasses when you leave the house. And finally, give yourself grace when things get off track.
You only have your kid at that age for that specific summer. So just, embrace it and, watch them have fun and use it all as just a learning experience of growing together.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
After the break here on CoastTV News at 11, as we take a look into Salisbury, meteorologist Chris Mastrobrono has a final look at your weather. The youngest seal ever in the National Aquarium's care has successfully been released back into the sea. This is Arcadia. At just a few weeks old, she was stranded in Ocean City and taken to receive care in Baltimore for her injuries back in March. While in care, she recovered and learned how to swim and forage for fish on her own. On Thursday, she was released at Assateague Island State Park. And with stories like that one, each Friday you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV. It's full of features, cool things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for a Feel Good Friday newsletter at coasttv.com/signup. In Lewes, the Public Art Committee has added a temporary new art piece to George H.B. Smith Park. This sculpture, whose name in French means evening sky, features brightly colored pillars made of aluminum. It is designed to show consistent changing of patterns depending on where you stand. Visitors to the park think it's a nice addition for the summer season.
But I like how they used simplistic, but it's, colorful. It's nice. I like how they put it next to a park.
This is the first of 2 pieces to be installed. The second will be added to Canal Front Park between June 5th and 6th. Listen carefully and you might hear the sound of glasses clinking. That's because today is National Wine Day. Whether it's red or white, pour a glass of your favorite to celebrate. And Chris, I'm more of a red wine with some pasta guy myself.
That sounds like a good combination right there. I'm more of on the pasta side of on that element there. We are seeing dry conditions outside. Salisbury coming in at 60 degrees. See a few clouds roll in through the overnight, but we are looking at a cloudy start to our Memorial Day, maybe a sprinkle or two in the far southern regions of the peninsula, but a gorgeous afternoon with temperatures rising into the lower 70s with mostly sunny skies. And you can see along the coast, we're at 71 in Lewes tomorrow, 66 in Rehoboth Beach, 71 in Dewey. We'll see 68 in Bethany, and temperatures right around 71 in Ocean City and Chicotee with those morning clouds. You can get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Brockstead Mundalis Federico. Your 10-day forecast shows a cloudy Tuesday. Rain moves into Wednesday. Now, Wednesday looks like a soaker of a day. All-out washout. We're going to see an easterly flow. Temperature struggling to get out of the 60s, kind of similar to what we experienced this past Wednesday. Could even see a rumble of thunder Wednesday into Thursday, but the good news is we rebound pretty quickly as far as the temperatures are concerned. Could see a brief shower Thursday, but the trending drier as we go into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the good news is, Brandon, by the tail end of that 10-day forecast, we're seeing more 80-degree temperatures as we welcome in the month of June. Hard to believe, right?
Time's flying, and those 80s are definitely something I like to see. Thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. We'll see you in just a few hours for Coast TV News today, starting at 5 a.m. Have a great night.